Okay, I'll do injuries first. Really, the only one that's significant is Arakpo. It's his right, what's that called? Pec, right pec. He's going to get an MRI tomorrow. Other than Alfred hurt his ankle early in the game, but he came back to play. Everybody else should be okay.
Jay, when was the decision made to take Kirk Cousins out and put in Colt McCoy?
Halftime. Well, after the interception, we decided to go with Colt.
I mean, I guess the reasons why are pretty obvious, but ultimately, how did you go about making the decision? Was it something you were thinking about in the first half, or did you just make it at halftime?
No, I thought Kirk did some decent things in the first half. The fumble was unfortunate, and then the interception was, I thought after the interception, turn the ball over. We talked about accountability, ball security, and that was a standard pass play that we've run for a long, long time, and I threw it right to him, unfortunately, and I decided to go with Colt in the second half.
For Kirk, do you feel the problems are all mental at this point? Is that fair to say?
Well, I don't know what the problems are right now. Just a bad throw, bad situation, and I just thought Colt has earned the right to get an opportunity if Kirk struggled in the first half turning the ball over. That's the basic reason. Had I not thought Colt would have been ready, I would have stuck with Kirk, but I just thought Colt was ready to go. I know he felt ready. He's been chomping at the bit to play, but he's always been supportive backup in this time, and when his number was called, he produced.
Have you made a decision on who will start the next game?
No, not yet, no. But it's a good sign the way Colt finished the game, ran the offense, very smart, very efficient, did some good things.
Want to elaborate on Colt a little bit, Jay, just what you thought overall of a guy hadn't played in a long, long time.
Yeah, you're right. And he hadn't had many reps. We talk about Kirk's lack of reps in training camp and in the regular season behind Robert. And then when we're trying to get Kirk ready, we had to force feed Kirk, and Colt was behind doing mainly scout teams. So he's had to learn, like all backup quarterbacks have had to do, but very, very smart. He's been in a system before, a West Coast type system, so he's familiar with a lot of the pass concepts. And we figured that if his number was called, he'd be ready to go. He's a quality pickup for us in the offseason, and obviously when you're standing up here at this time, you hope you don't have to go to number 3, but if you do, you want it to be somebody like Colt, who is a pro.
You mentioned you don't want to have to go to number 3. Had you guys discussed this over the last week or so? What if Kirk comes out and struggles, whether it's the first half or even the fourth quarter again?
This wasn't discussed. It wasn't planned. It's something we try not to think about if he plays terrible. We try to get him to play well, and that's what our focus is. We don't try to elaborate on what happens if things go poorly. We're try to be positive thinkers around here, and it just didn't work out. He threw a poor interception, and I just thought Colt deserved an opportunity.
Jay, I know there's a difference between making a decision on game day in game and something bigger picture, but for a guy like Kirk with maybe a limited number of weeks still available to be a number 1, what's your kind of outlook on what you saw from him and how he performed bigger picture?
Kirk? Yeah. Well, you know what? He stepped into a situation and had to produce as a number 2 backup, as a number 2 quarterback, and he did some great things so far, and he's going to do some great things in the NFL. There's no question about it. His career's not over. His season's not over. He's going to continue to prepare. He's got a good arm. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's just got to do a better job of seeing some of his throws and not forcing some interceptions. And that'll come with time. It takes some time for a quarterback to see all the looks he's going to see, handle the pass rush. And some quarterbacks get it quicker than others. But you don't see a lot of quarterbacks in the history of this league get it as quickly as your 8th or 9th or 10th start in the NFL.
Can you improve on those things without playing, or is that something you got to be on the field to do?
Ideally, like to be on the field playing, but the more you see, the more you rep and practice in training camp and watch tape. You hope they have to learn on the fly by not getting the quality reps on game day. But he's the type of guy that the older he gets, the wiser he'll get, and the more he'll see, and the more confident he'll be. But a lot of this has a lot to do with confidence and just standing back there and seeing your throws and delivering them with assurance that you're making the right decisions. And he's been tentative a little bit here and there, a little bit more tentative than you would like him to, and sometimes he takes poor plays a little bit too hard. But he's going to be a good quarterback, I promise you that.
Seemed like Sean maybe took over as the lead communicator there for a bit. Was he calling some of the plays?
He's been the lead communicator. I call him through him, and Sean communicates to the quarterback.
What else? Jay, do you have to make the decision on who your starting quarterback is on Tuesday or Wednesday morning so that you can get whoever that is all the first team reps, or can you kind of go a little mix?
You know, you'd like to have your decision made as soon as possible because you got to get them ready, you know, and then you throw Robert in the mix, and Robert's got a chance, you know, to practice on Wednesday. So we'll have to see where he is. You know, I think it starts with him and see where he is health-wise, and then from there, I'm going to try to make a decision after watching the tape of what I'm going to do moving forward to Dallas.
Jay, it had been a while since Colt had played. Looks like a lot of slants, a lot of curls, a lot of hitches in that second half. Was that the kind of the game plan, make things a little bit easier for him to kind of ease him in and don't give him too much of a leash?
Yeah, you know, it's it was kind of the game plan with Kirk also. You know, we just want to move the ball and get completions out there for him, get a good rhythm, and really try to focus on the running game today. And we had some good runs, not so good runs, and still we have to improve our running game. Obviously, still not up to par, in my opinion, for us to be successful. But want to get the ball in our hands for a lot of reasons.
3rd and 2, long field goal range, inexperienced quarterback, and you have him throw it down for Deshaun. What was your thinking on that?
Well, the play before, I knew they were going to try to come out with a ton of pressure. I knew if we handed up the middle, we'd be way short because they were bringing the house. And we called a max protection play and let Deshaun run a double move on the corner. And I said, you know, if it's incomplete, we're in field goal range, worst case scenario. And I thought we were going to score. I thought Deshaun would have won there. Unfortunately, he didn't, but we got the PI. But I knew a handoff up the middle was going to be stuffed. So it was either take a shot with a nice deep ball to our one of our best receivers, or and kick the field goal if it didn't work.
That whole last drive, they seemed to be bringing pressure most of the last drive. Can you talk about what you called in the last drive and what Colt was seeing at the line that he was going to?
Yeah, we line up in a formation to try to, give us a pretty good indicator of what they were playing. With Jordan Reed out to one side and 3 receivers the other side, it was a good indicator for us. And then Colt had his freedom to make some checks at the line, and we called some in the huddle for him. So got some good looks. Obviously, Roy had a big hit to really get the drive going on an inside run, which was excellent. And but overall, we're just trying to get some looks that Colt would understand and know what plays we want to get to, be very specific with them, and he did a good job.
You talk about Deshaun's great play there, and you got that PI. He obviously has so much fire and is such a help to your offense, but do you talk to him about stuff like that? Because it can cost you in a tighter game, or in that situation, it could cost you.
What did he do? Did he argue? What did he do?
Yeah, it just gets up, just
yeah.
fighting.
Yeah, he's a fiery guy. That's something you got to control. You got to be smarter than that. Luckily, I don't think he got a penalty, though, right? He didn't? So he's okay.
Pierre, obviously a guy that's having some of his catches decrease just because of the other weapons you guys have offensively, but the 70-yard play that he makes really on his own to break tackles and to beat the guy to the outside, just your thoughts on that play?
Yeah, that was a great play by Pierre, and I'd love to get Pierre more looks, honestly. Pierre's a good receiver, tough guy after the catch. Just hadn't happened for whatever reason. We got to do a better job of game plan and trying to get him some balls where he can get more involved early in the game because he's very good after the catch, and he proved that today. It really got us off the snide. At halftime, we were all kicking ourselves a little bit for giving them the lead after the interception. Had a good talk at halftime, and then second half, Pierre really got us jump-started with the lead, which is a huge play for us.
Jay, we're also focused on the quarterback move. Nobody's really asked about the ending a losing streak. I mean, how much relief do you feel? And when you saw that flag go on the PR, you're going, wow, finally?
Well, we still had some game left. We still had to make the field goal, and they were getting some good pressure off the right side. But, yeah, it's a relief. But I know there's a lot more that we can accomplish. I know we can play a lot better. We're not happy in any stretch by the way we played today with the turnovers and, the big play on defense we gave up, giving them the lead. There's so much more we can do to get better. The sacks, a couple sacks we gave up, the holding calls. We can play a lot better. I know that, and we have to demand it from the coaches have to demand it, and I have to demand it, and we have to play better if we're going to beat the likes of the Dallas Cowboys next week. We're fortunate this week that we got it done, but it won't be that easy in coming weeks. It wasn't easy today, believe me.
Jay, second half you went Columbus a couple drives and then Compton a couple drives back and forth. What was the reasoning?
Same thing. Tyler had a couple plays where he struggled on, and Tom's put some good work in practice, and we just thought it was time to look at Tom at right tackle. I thought he deserved an opportunity to play, and moving forward, we'll see a little bit more of Tom, and plus Tyler had a little bit of a banged up knee coming into this game, and it was important to get Tom out there.